Kang Gi-man is a notorious undercover agent of the Korean army. He alone can take down an entire criminal syndicate. But ironically, talented people often have flaws. Due to his own financial problems, he planned to steal a shipment of illegal goods. But he did not expect that this wrong decision was not only a trap, but it also took the life of a young teammate who idolized him. While hiding in a casino, G-man became addicted to gambling. This led to a lot of debt. He had to sell all his assets. However, the creditors still did not let him go. They even put a debt note on his car. With no other choice, G-man came up with a plan. He decided to steal illegal substances in a case he was investigating. He planned to sell it on the market to get money to pay off his debt. The owner of the package that Gi-man planned to steal was Tae-hwa. He was the leader of a dangerous gang. He used to be a national chemistry student, but now he has embarked on a life of crime. Tae-hwa is an expert in manufacturing synthetic stimulants. He often lures beautiful young girls to try the banned substance he has created. Because it is a strong stimulant, normal people will easily get drug shock. They can lose their lives without anyone feeling sorry. Suddenly, Tae-hwa receives a call. The caller is an insider at the police station, nicknamed Inspector Kim. He informs that G-man has stolen investigative documents. Tonight, G-man will steal a package at the transaction location to sell it to pay off his debt. Tae-hwa promises to give the insider a bonus of $10 million. Discovering that someone is trying to steal it, Tae-hwa immediately makes a plan to trap Gi-man. The next day, when Gi-man is about to get the package, Inspector Kim suddenly brings a new recruit. Inspector Kim then assigned the new recruit to G-man to investigate the case together. He introduced himself as Lee Min-ho. This trainee boy said that 5 years ago, G-man had rescued him. G-man remembered that year. In an abandoned warehouse, a gang was beating up a young man who was Lee Min-ho. After G-man defeated them, Lee Min-ho came over. Lee Min-ho said that G-man was his idol. Back in reality, Lee Min-ho explained that he had passed the police academy exam. He also asked to come here to solve cases with G-man, thinking that he would be praised by his idol. G-man unexpectedly replied that he was a man with a lot of debt. He told Lee Min-ho to forget the past. After saying that, the two got in the car to carry out the mission. At this time, Lee Min-ho's wife called. By the way, she invited G-man to attend their daughter's birthday this weekend. However, Gi-man could not agree because he was still thinking about the illegal drugs. G-man accepted the card carelessly and the two went to the suburbs. They went to the place where the gang often traded. G-man told Lee Min-ho to stay there, and he said he had something to do. Inside, based on the clues of the photos, G-man quickly went to find the location where the package was hidden. However, Tae-hwa already knew the plan. He brought 20 of his men to catch him red-handed. Immediately, they divided up to block all the entrances to capture G-man. Knowing that something bad was happening, Lee Min-ho immediately followed to protect his idol. Inside, G-man found the package, but it was all waste paper. G-man was furious. G-man was about to get in the car when the gangsters arrived. Each of them had weapons in their hands. They blocked the alley, not giving G-man any way to retreat. G-man immediately rushed in to fight. G-man jumped up and grabbed the electric wire to scare them. While trying to escape, seeing his junior killed because of him, Gi-man was extremely heartbroken. Gi-man had no choice but to leave to save his life. Upon receiving the news, the police rushed in, but the gang's lair was empty. Tae-hwa and his accomplices had escaped, and Gi-man was lucky not to lose his life. However, half of the knife in Gi-man's brain could not be pulled out. The doctor said it would follow Gi-man until he died, because it would be very dangerous to take it out. While Gi-man was still wondering how to explain to his superiors, Inspector Kim said he found $1 million in Lee Min-ho's locker. He suspected that Lee Min-ho had colluded with the boss. He said that Lee Min-ho probably intended to steal drugs, which was why he was killed. He hoped G-Man would take revenge. Hearing this, G-Man felt that something was wrong. However, to cover up his mistakes, when questioned, G-Man lied. G-Man said that Lee Min-ho was the spy. Lee Min-ho intended to steal the package, which was why he was killed. When he got in the car to return, G-Man saw the birthday invitation and was extremely heartbroken. G-Man had acted cruelly. He blamed all the blame on Lee Min-ho, who had sacrificed his life to save him. After that, G-Man left the police station. G-Man lived in seclusion in a dilapidated apartment. Because he still had half a knife in his head, the old wound often recurred, causing G-Man extreme pain. Suddenly one day, a reporter named Cook Hyun came looking for him. He wanted to interview G-Man to publish a sensational article. While the neighbors all hurriedly ran away when they saw G-Man, Cook Hyun was extremely brave. Even though he was rejected and chased away, he still persistently followed. Cook Hyun felt despised, so he was extremely angry, so he broke the door and rushed inside. Unexpectedly, at this moment, G-Man was having a headache. G-Man's condition made the reporter extremely panicked. Seeing the medicine on the table, Cook Hyun immediately gave G-Man an injection to relieve the pain. After this incident, G-Man agreed to let Cook Hyun interview him. He said that Lee Min-ho's wife and daughter were suffering a great shock. Even though her husband had passed away, Lee Min-ho was still accused of colluding with the mafia. Hearing this, G-Man thought again. G-Man did not understand who put money in Lee Min-ho's desk drawer and then blamed him for everything. G-Man did not expect that the mastermind was Inspector Kim. Tae-hwa promised to pay Inspector Kim $10 million if Inspector Kim sold him information. However, Tae-hwa later disappeared. He did not pay Inspector Kim a penny. After knowing that he was deceived, Inspector Kim knew that he was no match for Tae-hwa. So Inspector Kim wanted to borrow someone else's hand to kill someone. That is why Inspector Kim blamed Lee Min-ho. Inspector Kim did this so that G-Man could escape punishment. Inspector Kim then urged G-Man to take revenge so that G-Man could eliminate Tae-hwa for him. However, G-Man did not know this. G-Man asked journalist Cook Hyun to take him to meet Lee Min-ho's wife. When they arrived, she said that she did not believe that her husband was such a person. She said that G-Man definitely knew what happened. She doesn't want her daughter's life to be slandered by the world because of Lee Min-ho. After witnessing this suffering, G-Man tells Cook Hyun that he knows Lee Min-ho is not a spy. G-Man swears that he must make Tae-hwa pay with his life, and he will restore Lee Min-ho's honor. G-Man wants Cook Hyun to use a camera to record everything as evidence. This is exactly what Cook Hyun needs, because if he doesn't have a special report this time, Cook Hyun will be fired by his superiors. So Cook Hyun immediately agrees, knowing that G-Man has fallen into a trap. Inspector Kim immediately gives him the entire investigation file. Inspector Kim wishes G-Man a quick revenge and promises to support G-Man with all his might. Having a clue, the two immediately set off. They know that Tae-hwa often seduces girls, and one of them is Choi So-ran. The two are already at the red light district. Entering a small shop, the owner thought the guests were here to have fun, so he immediately opened his notebook. G-Man pointed at Choi So-ran. He said that this case was a bit difficult because she wasn't there. G-Man asked to be taken to her place when the shop owner threatened him. Before he could finish, G-Man slapped him. Suddenly, a waitress appeared. She asked why G-Man was looking for her sister. She said that the gang had already taken So-ran away. Upon receiving this news, G-Man immediately told Cook Hyun to drive the three of them to their lair. On the way, Cook Hyun asked the girl what her name was. She replied that her name was So-ran. When she discovered that Choi So-ran's sister was missing, she secretly went to the red light district to investigate. She wasn't a prostitute. As soon as she finished speaking, G-Man's alarm clock rang. It turned out that it was time for G-Man's injection. At this moment, they had also arrived at the gang's lair. G-Man told them both to stay in the car. Then, G-Man went downstairs and opened the trunk to take out a glove. G-Man stuffed 2 large batteries inside to use as weapons. Inside, the gang was eating and drinking. G-Man entered without saying a word and took down a thug. Seeing that, the whole gang rushed forward, but they didn't know that they were facing an elite secret agent. G-Man beat them until their faces were dark. One was injured, the other fell down. After a moment of carelessness, G-Man was kicked and lost his glove. G-Man immediately grabbed the food box to use it as a weapon. G-Man fought with his hands, combined with his strong legs, so with just a few basic moves, G-Man had these guys lying all over the place. At this time, the boss turned around. He didn't understand what was going on, and picked up a knife and rushed forward. G-Man didn't hold back. He grabbed the boss's hair and asked where Tae-hwa had gone. He refused to talk, so G-Man threatened him with a stick. Then, So-ran hit him on the head with a bottle and asked where her sister was. Only then did he confess. After Tae-hwa received Choi So-ran, they went to Uksan Island to make a deal. They sold her abroad. Knowing this, Gi-man locked all the thugs in a container. Gi-man called Inspector Kim to take them to the station. Then Gi-man announced that Tae-hwa was in Uksan, so he would go there. Inspector Kim wanted the two sides to fight so he could benefit, so he secretly informed Tae-hwa. Tae-hwa also responded that he wanted to meet Gi-man to get back half of the knife stuck in Gi-man's head. He said that it was a keepsake his late mother had given him. He used it to defeat anyone who dared to bully him. Then he rose to become the boss. After saying that, Tae-hwa ordered his juniors to gather their forces to prepare to welcome the opponent. The next morning, Gi-man arrived at Uksan Island. The three of them walked and asked the locals about Choi So-ran's whereabouts. Seeing Sol-ran looking at the whistles, Koo-kan asked her why she was looking so closely. She said that when she was in the orphanage, her sister gave her one. When she was bullied, she would blow it to get someone to come and save her. On the other side, Tae-hwa was keeping Choi So-ran captive. Every day, he used her as a test subject for drugs. A squinting junior, also known as Young Pil, provided food. This guy was naive but lustful. He really wanted Tae-hwa to sell Choi So-ran to him after finishing his work. After eating, Gi-man took the two to find an inn. Ironically, they went to Young Pil's house. Gi-man asked Young Pil's mother if she had seen a girl and some thugs around. She knew, but she lied and said she hadn't. The man who was cleaning the fish in the kitchen also pretended to be deaf and glanced at Sol-ran. That night, Gi-man couldn't sleep. Gi-man went out to spy. Just as Gi-man had expected, Tae-hwa had sent his men to hunt down Gi-man. At home, Koo-kyun reviewed the footage. He discovered that someone was following the three of them. Koo-kyun took out his phone to call Gi-man, but the signal was very poor, so Koo-kyun hurriedly left. He gave Sol-ran a whistle and apologized. He told her to stay inside because it was dangerous outside. Koo-kyun still went everywhere to look for Gi-man. While Gi-man was in the church, 10 thugs suddenly rushed in. Gi-man picked up the pen on the table and rushed into battle. Even though they were all holding daggers, Gi-man was not shaken at all. Gi-man used dangerous moves. He broke their arms without holding back. Suddenly, Gi-man felt dizzy. Gi-man knew that the knife was starting to torture his brain again. He was about to take out the medicine tube to inject it, but it was too late. He tried to resist, but the pain got worse and worse, making it impossible for Gi-man to fight anymore. Taking advantage of this opportunity, the assassin picked up the knife and continuously demanded to kill Gi-man. In the critical situation, Koo-kyun appeared. Koo-kyun kicked that guy. The assassin was angry and wanted to turn around and kill both of them. Gi-man struggled to get up. He broke his arm and stabbed the bastard in the stomach. No one survived, but Gi-man was in a critical situation. Koo-kyun rushed over. He took out the medicine tube and injected it, making Gi-man overcome the danger. When Gi-man woke up, he picked up the leader's phone. After that, Gi-man told Koo-kyun to go back and watch over Sol-ran. Gi-man continued to search for Tae-hwa. At this time, Inspector Kim also arrived at the island. He called the leader that Gi-man had just defeated and told him to let Gi-man kill Tae-hwa, and he quickly stole the package and brought it to the lighthouse. Hearing a familiar voice, Gi-man understood everything. It turned out that Inspector Kim not only wanted to borrow someone else's hand to kill people, but he also wanted to steal the goods. When he arrived at the lighthouse, Inspector Kim saw Gi-man and his face turned pale. He lied that he was there to help Gi-man. Gi-man played the recording and he had no way to deny it. Gi-man said that he was the one who blamed Lee Min-ho. Seeing that he had been exposed, he rushed to attack. He was immediately grabbed by the neck by Gi-man and beaten to the ground. Immediately after, Gi-man took his car and left. At the inn, Sol-ran woke up. She heard the landlady scolding Young Pil, her son. She said that Tae-hwa had tortured Choi So-ran, but Young Pil still liked Choi So-ran. What was he going to do with Choi So-ran's clothes in the warehouse? When Young Pil went to deliver the food, Sol-ran went into the warehouse to rummage through them. Seeing her sister's ID, Sol-ran understood everything. Just as Young Pil was about to turn back, his mother forced him into the kitchen. Sol-ran took the opportunity to hide in the trunk of the car. At this time, Koo-kyun had just returned. Seeing Sol-ran hiding behind, he hurriedly chased after her, not having time to jump into the car. Koo-kyun rode his neighbor's motorbike. After following him for a while, Koo-kyun went halfway when his motorbike broke down. Unable to leave Sol-ran alone in a dangerous place, Koo-kyun took out his camera and ran after her on foot. When they arrived, Young Pil was carrying the food basket in, while Sol-ran followed him. Looking through the window, she discovered that her sister was being held captive. In the cafeteria, Young Pil suddenly brought out a pile of money. He asked to buy Choi So-ran to be his wife. It turned out that he stole money from the vase that his mother cleaned every day, making her extremely angry. Young Pil kept nagging about the purpose and reason, so Tae-hwa was afraid that the plan would be ruined, so she hit him a few times. Outside, the two sisters, So-ran and Sol-ran, broke the window and jumped out. At this moment, a junior came in. He saw that the room was empty, so he immediately informed Taehwa. The whole gang split up to search. When the two sisters reached the fence, Solran pushed Seoran out and gave Seoran the whistle. Solran stayed behind to block their way. What would happen would happen. Solran was caught, thinking that Seoran had escaped when she hid in a sewer. Young Pil suddenly stuck his head in. Then, he grabbed Seoran's hair and dragged her upstairs, intending to commit a lewd act. Seoran slapped him. He was angry, so he immediately hit her. Too panicked, Seoran blew the whistle to call for help. At this moment, Kukien also ran to the scene. Kukien immediately determined the location. When Young Pil was about to do something, Kukien pushed him into the sewer. He frantically rushed in to strangle Kukien, but Kukien took the bag with the camera and hit him. After that, Kukien hit him a few more times. Realizing that this girl was Choi So-ran, Kukien took her to a safe place. Kukien promised to bring Sol-ran back. Immediately, Kukien called Giman to inform him of everything. Kukien said that Young Pil and her mother were their henchmen. Taehwa took Sol-ran to the harbor to make a deal. Upon receiving this news, Giman was furious. Giman immediately smashed Young Pil's mother's vase, then burned the remaining money. This made her scream miserably. On the other side, Taehwa took Sol-ran to the harbor to test the drug on the old customer. After being injected, she had a seizure, which proved that the drug was of extremely high quality. When they were about to board the ship to leave, Giman and Kukien arrived. The alarm rang to announce that it was time to inject the drug, but seeing the enemy, Giman no longer needed it. Taehwa ordered his men to carry axes and charge forward, while he went down to the harbor to escape. Giman fought alone. Jaiman turned on the killing mode, so every attack he made was extremely powerful. Jaiman quickly defeated them. Grabbing the rope in his hand, he beat them until their faces were dizzy. Kukien recorded a video and saw a man in red running away. Kukien rushed over. He thought it would be easy, but unexpectedly, Kukien was punched to the ground by him. Taking advantage of that opportunity, this man was about to run down to the boat when Kukien rushed over. The two hugged each other and fell into the sea. Inside, Giman didn't want to waste time. Giman grabbed the knife and launched some dangerous attacks. Immediately after, Giman jumped onto the yacht to chase Taehwa. It turned out that Taehwa hadn't crossed the bay yet. Giman ran up and took a shortcut and was lucky to jump onto the boat. Unexpectedly, a junior kicked Giman in the face and then pulled out a knife to slash. However, he was no match for Giman, so Giman beat him down. At this moment, the pain returned. Taehwa took the opportunity to attack. He smashed Giman's head against the crane. When Taehwa was about to use the knife to finish off Giman, Giman grabbed a wrench and hit him on the head. Giman took out the mini camera that Kukien gave him to film. Giman forced him to confess who the mole was and whether Lee Min-ho was in cahoots with him or not. After he told the truth that it was all Inspector Kim's manipulation, Giman immediately attacked. Jaiman wanted to take him to the police station, but he tried to resist. He picked up the broken knife and tried to stab Jiman. Jaiman immediately attacked. Jiman immediately stabbed him in the chest and pushed him to the bottom of the ocean. Immediately after, Jiman also died from the head wound that was not injected with medicine. It turned out that Jiman had thrown away the painkiller before. Jiman wanted to use his life to apologize to Lee Min-ho after dealing with these guys. On the other side, Kukien beat his junior. He returned to find Sol-ran unconscious. He cried out in pain and realized that he loved her. Suddenly, she woke up and the two hugged each other. Finally, the two sisters Sol-ran and Seo-ran were reunited. Kukien brought the recorded footage to Lee Min-ho's wife and the police station to clear his name. In the end, justice was served. Those who did wrong had to pay the price. Through the movie, we see that no matter who you are, you always need to be careful, because once you fall into the mud like Gi Man, it will be difficult to redeem your sins, and it even hurts others.